God, this is nerve-wracking all over again. Hey guys, it has been a while. How y'all doing? You can always pick somewhere to start as long as you're starting. Okay. And with that, welcome back to Starting From Scratch with Tay. I have not posted in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. One of my main reasons for starting from scratch was because I was in a rut and I was trying to figure out what was going on in my life, trying to figure out where I want to go with that. And with that territory comes off weeks as well. So in trying to post these every week, I also hit some road bumps and could not do so. And also just kind of generally fell off for the last 2 weeks. I went back into the feeling a little bit lost, feeling a little bit confused, feeling a little bit not sure how to get back on track. And due to that, I have not filmed. I have not even thought about filming. I have kind of taken a hiatus on a lot of the things that I really wanted to get done. But that also comes with starting from scratch. We're getting back on track today. Apologies for the delay on this. I also want to preface this video with we are not continuing the crocheting this episode because I need to do a lot of other things right now that I want to prioritize, and I want to bring you guys along with that, and we'll get back into crocheting I think next week. I guess I can give a little bit of a recap of the last few weeks. I went out of town right after posting the last one. I went to Tahoe on a trip. While I was on that trip, I got hit in the head with some skis, and while I don't necessarily think I had like any major concussion or anything like that, I had a few days of recovery post-trip of just like being really exhausted, lethargic. I just really could not get myself out of like a funk. I don't think it was necessarily because of the skis. Skiing trips are also exhausting as they are on their own. And I think just coming off of a giant trip like that and then trying to get back into being on camera and filming and doing things like that was just something that I was not capable of doing last week. And in the meantime, I've been having a bunch of interviews and case study projects I've been working on for some hopefully future jobs that may pan out. So I've been a little bit preoccupied, a little bit not on my A game with content creation. But that said, this week is all about starting from scratch and getting back into it. That was the entire point of this project, was to just record this part of my life and figure out what the heck is going on, because clearly it's just, there's a lot of ups and downs with this era of my life. There's a lot of really highs and really lows. There's a lot of uncertainty with where I'm going to be in the next like 2 months, and there's also a lot of just like, I think, disheartening emotions that come with being in the unemployment game for this long. While again, this was my choice, it also does not mean it's not a difficult time period of, please tell me you hear that. The sirens in the city, I swear. Anyway, as I was saying, there's just a lot of emotions that I think come with this time period of my life, where in trying to figure out the next steps of the next job I'm gonna take on, the next, phase of my life that's about to start, I also have a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxieties that come with that as well. With that said, I apologize for being offline. Shit happens, and shit did happen the last 2 weeks, and it's just been a little bit overwhelming for me. So we are back today. With all of that said, the Try It With Tay this week is going to be a little bit different in the sense that is going to be trying to get my life back together. But before we can get back into that, I am going to start with weekly favorites. I'm actually very excited for what's been popular this week because they're kind of like near and dear to my heart this week, if you will. I am going to do my what's been popular this week from the 10th to today, the 18th. Also shout out Lily, it is my friend's birthday. Hope you're having a great day. I love this week's. So let's dive right in. This is weekly favorites. Number 1, we have this bagel combination I've been making for the last, it's got to be genuinely the last 9 days. I'll insert a photo here if you're curious as to what bagel I'm speaking of. And then also if you're interested in the recipe, I'll put it here. It's not like a recipe per se, it's just more of like the toppings for each bagel. I'll put that here. The first one is more of like a guacamole bagel, I like to call it, because I still do the cream cheese, but I'm mashing avocado on it, adding a little bit of lime or lemon, raw red onion, jalapenos, and then I just put salt and pepper on top. It's just the simplicity of it that is so good. So good. Refreshing. And I love jalapenos, big spice girl. The other one, okay, this is where I get a little bit more like traditionally, I would say, bagel platter bagel, if you will. And on that one, I'm slicing up cucumbers, the baby ones, all over it, and then putting cherry tomatoes on it as well. This is all from Trader Joe's. And then new addition and new addiction, dill. It's So good, you guys. Sprinkle dill, chop it up really small, or I just kind of tear it. And then I also found these pickled red onions at Whole Foods that I've been obsessed over. I think they're called Jeff's Garden. So if you ever find Jeff's Garden, they're really good. Chop those up, sprinkle those on there as well. Yeah, and salt and pepper on that one too. Made that exact same combination 5 times in the last week. Number 2 of what's popular this week, staying under my heated blanket. If you guys know anything about the weather in San Francisco right now, we've had really nice, beautiful sunny days, but the weather will still be 48 degrees. And the wind here, I'm not used to this being from LA. Technically, I'm not used to any weather being from LA. So today, I think it was 52, but the wind chill was so bad, it was 38 degrees. That's insane. In my bedding, I have like my normal sheets, duvet, all that kind of stuff. If you see this white blanket, that's my heated blanket. Oh my God, speak of the devils, it's been turned on. If you can see the mess of cords, this is my weighted blanket. Under that is my normal comforter and duvet. I got it for Christmas. It's genuinely the best present I've ever been given. Thank you, mama. Yeah, number 2 on the list is just always having the heated blanket on, even if I'm sitting on top of the bed. As soon as I get in bed to watch TV at night, I'm turning it on, even if it's like 1 to 2, because it heats the whole bed. I love my weighted blanket, and that is number 2 on the list. On to number 3, we have my Harry Potter video game. To know me is to know that when I get into a funk or a depressive episode or just like an off period in my life, a lot of what I like to do in the evenings is put on a comfort show and then play my Nintendo Switch. Cozy gamer girl, if you will. I got Hogwarts Legacy on here this past summer, maybe, let's just say that. I finished the entire game already. I finished it in like January. I restarted it in January again. I wanted to try it as a Slytherin this time because I was a Gryffindor the first time. You can kind of pick with this game, which is fun. Recently, I've gotten fully back invested, and it's the exact same storyline. Of course, you can like pick to do different things at different times, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. I've just completely dived back into it. I'm addicted to it. Every night I'm playing it. Fully back into my Switch addiction. I can't recommend the game enough. I'm genuinely not even kidding. Like, I probably will play it again when I finish. Or they should probably come up with a second one. I prefer that. Moving on. Number 4, and the final what's popular this week has been making itineraries. This week I'm really excited because I have one of my best friends from childhood, Romina, coming to visit. She's staying with me from Friday to Sunday. One of my favorite things to do when trips are coming up, when birthdays are coming up, when little friend events are coming up, I am a big itinerary maker. I'm obsessed with Canva. I do pay for it every month just because of the amount that I'm genuinely using it. I get really into the customization of it all. I really like to make it themed for different events. So this week I have my best friend from childhood, Romina, is coming to stay with me, so I made us our own little itinerary. I also have my mom and sister visiting next weekend. Their first time visiting me since I moved here, so I'm really excited about that. It's my mom's birthday weekend as well, so I made a whole 4-day itinerary for their trip. They're coming Thursday to Monday next week. And so I've really just been on a roll of getting into making itineraries. It's really nice to have something to look forward to. It's really nice to plan something, and like, they don't have to be strictly followed, but it's just nice to have an idea of what a weekend's gonna look like, especially when I have visitors. These are probably my most recent visitors since August. I don't think I've had people come visit me. So I think it's the perfect way to get out of this funk, reset myself, and have 2 weekends with people that I really love and miss. So you guys, the sirens just don't want to let me speak today. To give a little recap of what's popular this week, plop them here. We have the bagels I've been making, staying under my heated blanket, my Harry Potter video game, and making itineraries. That brings me into our next and most exciting segment, as always, Try It with Tay. This week, we are no longer crocheting. I'm over it. I can't do it. We're putting that on the bucket list for another time because we're done here. Because of the funk that I've been in, I kind of have a little bit of a list of things that I like to do to get myself out of a funk. This week's Try It with Tay is trying to get my shit together. So to start, we are going to meal prep something that I'm addicted to, always have been, always will be. My family calls it cowboy caviar. A lot of people are calling it dense bean salad. There's a lot of different ways that you can call this type of meal. My family's been making this for years, ever since I was a kid. We make it for every single holiday, every single family event, just like a giant dip. So we will be doing that first. And then one of my ways of kind of getting myself out of a weird state or a weird emotion, or genuinely just any time in my life where I kind of just like need a break, one of my favorite things to do is get outside, go on a walk, just get outdoors, get moving. So what we're gonna do today is go on a color walk. I've never done one of these. I'm really excited. We are going to do the typical walk that I like to do. We're gonna go around sunset because the sun's setting later, you guys. Walk with me in San Francisco, color walk edition, sunset edition, get me out of my funk edition. Then finally, I made a spring bucket list. I'm always making music playlists for the seasons, but I also always try to make a bucket list. I fear that I did not make one for the winter. Winter's always a little bit weird. This year I made a spring bucket list. So for now, I'll read you guys the list. at the end of this, and then we will maybe make it into an infographic later on Canva because I am obsessed with doing that. To reiterate, we're gonna make cowboy caviar. We're gonna go on a color walk and we're gonna do my bucket list. We're gonna go to Whole Foods right now. I'll bring you guys with me. We'll come back and we'll get to cooking. Here's the fit. Why is there a DC on the floor? I'm afraid it's gonna do one of those things again where it's 30 degrees outside even though it was gorgeous and sunny. About to find out. Oh yeah. It's not that cold, but it's pretty cold. Wind actually is really not helping it at all. It's freezing. I don't know how I'm gonna go on a walk at like 5 p.m. if it's this cold out. They always have the best flowers. I decided while I'm here I'm also gonna get ice cream because why not? Welcome to my kitchen. 4 jalapenos and ice cream. I'm gonna move the flowers. Look at how gorgeous these flowers are. My roommate Hannah got them from her boyfriend Ryan. Love. For all else, I'm sweating. I'm gonna change. Then I'm gonna show you guys all the ingredients that I'm gonna use and then we'll get to cooking. All right, to get things started, we're gonna go through the ingredients to make what I call cowboy caviar. The main reason that I wanted to make this week was because I am kind of at like the almost tail end of all of my groceries that I bought last week, but I still had like a handful of items that I need to use, okay? Yesterday I went and I got any missing ingredients for this, but I've had things in my pantry that I wanted to use for this and just some random vegetables that I was like, that could make a perfect cowboy caviar, but I was missing some ingredients. This might not be the exact perfect recipe that I normally make with my family. It's gonna be as close to that as possible because I'm mostly using what I already had with a few things that I picked up. Start off with the canned goods. Today we're doing corn, black-eyed peas, and because it was in my pantry, garbanzo beans. Next up, we're gonna do literally all the other ingredients, okay? I always start off with bell pepper trio, essential. I never put green bell peppers in here. Always stick to these 3. Red onion. I had majority of a red onion I had to use. Cucumbers. I've been saving my cucumbers in water in a plastic bag because sometimes when you get this size, the Persian cucumbers, they go bad really quickly. But I recommend, it's working. Then we've got, well, cilantro, of course, to taste. We're just gonna use probably the rest of this. Tomatoes, of course. I got 3 Roma tomatoes. They're a little soft, but had to be used. And then, of course, jalapeno. Add as much as you want to taste. It's all good. And then this is not typical for everyone. I like adding garlic. It really, really makes the whole thing taste better over like the whole week. Oh God, I can't wait. And then kind of your choice, lemon or lime. I think I'm gonna do both. And then for the dressing, typically the lime or lemon juice, olive oil, and then red wine vinegar. And that's all I do. I know there's a lot of variations for it. You can do white wine vinegar as well, a little bit of red and white. Might try that today. And then salt, pepper, anything else you'd like to season. I will say this meal always does take up a lot of room in the fridge. So if you have roommates, clear out as much of your area as you can to store it in. Here we have a better look at all of the ingredients, the canned goods, and everything else. I typically just make everything directly into here. Oh, goodness. So how y'all doing? Pour all that juice out. Got the black-eyed peas in there. What's your favorite black-eyed pea song? Boom Boom Pow. It's gotta be. The fire roasted corn would probably be the one I'd recommend the most, but I just did what I could with what I had. We got the garbanzo beans. This is new for me. I don't ever do garbanzo beans, but I've had them in my pantry for a few months and I'm trying to save money where I can save money because being unemployed costs a lot. All right, got the base. This whole entire process is chopping, but then you have a meal for like 5 days. So I actually moved to the other side of the counter because I just think it's gonna give me a little bit more room to work. I'm gonna put the bowl here, cutting boards here, throw everything in. Let's get started on the red onion first, I think. For everything in this dish, I kind of roughly chop it, but I try to keep everything relatively small, at least the size of like how big a piece of corn is, or maybe a bean, so that you can get everything in one bite, like with a chip or with a fork, like get a part of everything in one bite. Does that make sense? It's not perfect, but I'd say it's relatively small. Throw in as I go. Next, we're gonna go bell pepper. I'm probably gonna start with half of each of them. Once we put everything in, the onion, by the way, this is what she's looking like right now. Getting halfway full. So I wanna probably do half of each bell pepper, 2 cucumbers, the tomatoes, jalapeno, see how full it is. And if we're feeling crazy, we'll add the other half of the bell peppers. Okay, I lied. Maybe like 2/3 of the bell peppers to start. And then for every single one of these ingredients, same rule applies, dice it so that it's an easy bite with a chip. See that? You get the picture. All right, on to cucumbers. I'm gonna start with 2, tiny dicing, see what room we have left later. All right, cucumber's done. Throwing that in there. Then we will do jalapenos, I guess. See how full it's getting? It's always deceiving because it starts off looking like nothing and it turns into something very, very quickly. For the jalapenos, you can choose to de-seed them if you'd like. I love spice, so I'm gonna keep all the seeds in, but I kind of like to take out the green part in the middle. I'll just keep the seeds and throw them in there too. Kind of de-seeding a little. This dish is nice because it's really dealer's choice. It's kind of whatever you want. I mean, some people make them like this style. Some people make like peppercini one. I've seen like an Italian chopped salad version recently that sounds really good. I might make that in another video. One thing about living in this city, the jalapenos are lacking spice. I don't know what it is about San Francisco compared to LA. I don't know where the produce is coming from, but the jalapenos here are just medium at best. So I used a lot. It's getting really full. We're doing tomatoes next, and then cilantro, garlic, and seasons. Another thing about living in the city is that the tomatoes here are always mealy for some reason. If anybody lives in San Francisco and knows where to get a good tomato that isn't a farmer's market or like Molly Stone's and spending thousands of dollars, I got these at Whole Foods and they're all mealy. I've had a lot of issues with the tomatoes here. All right, tomatoes done. Oh, another note for the tomato. You can pick any kind of tomatoes. I picked Roma tomatoes thinking that they were gonna be a little more firm. Put those bad boys in there. I mean, we really just filled it to the brim, didn't we? This is essentially the entire thing, aside from seasoning it, adding cilantro, garlic, and the like sauce, so. For cilantro, I very just roughly chop it. I don't mind having stems in. It's kind of, again, up to the chef on what they want to do. I like the stems. I think they give good flavor. It's to taste at this point, so it's whatever you feel like. This is always the messiest part. Plop that in there. I have no idea how excited I am for this. Lastly, garlic. This was just like the pre-packaged kind at Trader Joe's. I'm honestly gonna just use all of this. You could also roast garlic, I guess. Smash it up and put it in there. That could be kind of good too. And that's done too. I like cutting it pretty small. Pretty not diced, like pretty minced if possible. I literally made such a mess. It's what cleaning stuff is for. Back in my corner, because this is where all the rest of the ingredients are. This is where we left it. She looks so good. Oh my God, you guys, it smells fantastic. This truly is one of my comfort meals, so this is gonna bring me out of a funk, and if it doesn't, then like I'm lost, truly. I think we're on the right track. I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm gonna do lemon this time, or I'll do one of each. You know, use that strength. I feel like these never get enough juice out of them. This lemon's rather large. Ooh, there we go. Oh yeah, olive oil. Kind of do it to your heart's content. I am gonna do a little bit of white wine and red wine today, just to try it. A little bit of that. Again, keep tasting it. You'll know if you need more vinegar or not. Oh, apple cider vinegar is a good option as well. And then we got our last one. It comes out very slowly. Because it's such a big batch, I found this in our kitchen. I mean, this is like the only seasoning you're really doing, so do it to taste. That's all I can say. All right, I have these tortilla chips. I got a loaded bite. That's so good. I feel like it does need more vinegars. We're going cumin. I'm gonna do a little chili powder, because why not? A little cayenne pepper. This is typically what I use for my taco seasoning anyway, so it's kind of fitting for the cowboy caviar. I know I have garlic in there. I'm just gonna do a little garlic powder. Wow, you guys. This looks amazing. Last bite before we move on. All right, one more bite. It's honestly good with the garbanzo beans. I'm surprised. I'm so excited. I'm just so happy right now. I was going to walk. I'm all dressed. It's about 5:30-ish. I'm trying to set up this walk so that we are kind of seeing the sunset as it happens, but also not stuck in the dark by the time we have to come back. I decided for this one, we're gonna do a color walk. The color that I want to do for this color walk is, I think, red. I think it'd be cool to see the bridge, especially because it's so clear out. I'm really hoping the fog doesn't roll in. But I think it would be really cute to focus on red for this one, especially with the bridge and the sunset. Enjoy my little montage of my walk, and see you guys after. Got back. I'm disgusting. It's so cold out there. I kept sneezing the whole time. 6 miles, 6.4 miles. And I did 2 hours. I took a lot of breaks to take videos of colorful things and watch the sunset, but I'd say that's pretty good. I'm gonna do the bucket list tomorrow. It's like 7:40 and I'm tired, but I feel so good. You guys, that was genuinely the best walk, like smiling ear to ear the whole time. Hopefully I'm gonna sleep well tonight. I'm gonna go make some dinner and read. Hey guys, it's the next day. And I just recorded the entire rest of this video for it to all be in slow motion with no sound. So we're going back and we're recording the whole thing again. So bear with me if I trip over my words because I already did this. We're gonna do the bucket list today because we did not do it yesterday. However, I'm just gonna read through the basics of what each item is, and then I'm gonna make it into a cute infographic for next week and post it on my Pinterest for any of you guys who want to also reference it. Starting off strong, we've got I want to go to a farmer's market. That is #1 on the list. I'm going to one this weekend, but I want to go to another one later this spring because a lot of the other items on here kind of wrap into needing to go to a farmer's market. You'll see. Next, I want to have a park picnic afternoon, maybe bring some wine or some snacks, bring some books, and just kind of camp out for the day. I think when the weather's a little bit nicer, it'll be a perfect opportunity to do that. Next up, this kind of ties into the farmer's market, but I want to bake something. I'm not really good at baking. I'm more of a chef, I would say, than someone that is good at baking. But I would love to bake something lemony or like with strawberry. I just feel like those are very good spring pastries to make. Maybe an angel food cake with strawberry or something like that. It could be fun to make lemon squares. I've never made those before, and those are so good. So baking something lemony or strawberry is on the list. I would love to watch the sunset at the marina. I think it would be lovely to bring a little blanket, bring maybe a bottle of wine, just kind of make it a really cute evening for me and my girls. I would just love, love, love to do that. Spring cleaning is a big one for me. I have a lot of boxes, drawers, a lot of just chaos because I put things in drawers that should not be in those drawers, and I feel like every few months I should be doing that anyway. It would just be nice to refresh my room a little bit. I really want to get into doing more of the hikes around the city. I've done a couple of the hikes in the city, but it would be really nice to check off the other ones on my bucket list. I feel like once the weather perks up a little bit and people are willing to be more active on the weekends, I think it would be really nice to go and tackle like Twin Peaks or something like that. I really want to make an heirloom tomato, basil, garlic pasta. I make this like one specific recipe all the time when I'm low on groceries, but I think it would be even better with farmer's market produce. So that is definitely on the list for the spring, as well as making a new salad. I made a new salad last week that was like a tahini dressing with snap peas and things like that, and that was genuinely one of the best salads I've ever made. I want to expand my salad making portfolio, and I feel like farmer's market produce would be amazing for that, of course. I have a lot of postcards that I want to send out that I've written and just have not had time to get stamps for. So I just put that on my bucket list because I feel like it's time. And also I was thinking I kind of want to get maybe into sending my friends back home cards for the seasons. So like maybe a spring greetings card for all of them. It would just be a cute thing to do to connect with my friends, and I feel like who doesn't love a letter? Finally, when it gets a little bit nicer and when it is like peak season, I really want to go to the botanical garden. That's just always been on my bucket list, and considering I haven't done it yet, I feel like what better time than spring? That is my bucket list for the spring, and I will definitely upload it once I make it into like a cute infographic. Let me know if you guys end up following along with any of these activities, and who knows, I might add to it later. And last but not least, our final segment of the week, weekly updates. Of course, we're just doing songs of the week, movies I've seen, and book update. So very simple. We'll start off with songs. This week, a song that has me in a chokehold that I believe has the entire world in a chokehold. I know you're gonna guess it. I know you're gonna guess it. Sally When the Wine Runs Out by Role Model. I'm sorry, I just love the TikTok videos of seeing everybody going on stage. I think the song is so fun. It's a great energy. I feel like when I have had my little slump of a week, that has been one of the things that I've just put on blast because it's just a feel-good song, you know? Next up is Messy, the Lazewo remix. They hit every single time that they try to do anything in this world, and it's just another hit to me. I cannot stop blasting it. I think it's incredible, and it's just also a good song to kind of like pep you up a little bit. Third but not least, I just discovered Alessi Rose, and To say that I'm obsessed is an understatement. I literally found out about her yesterday, and Oh My was the first song that I listened to, so that is the song that I'm choosing for the week. However, she's been on non-stop repeat since yesterday. I'm so excited to get more into her. I just discovered her genuinely, I think, on the Smart Shuffle on Spotify. She popped up for my spring playlist that I made, which, by the way, I will also drop in the description because I just started it. And I'm addicted, can't stop listening. Next, we have movies that we watched in the last week. I was looking for kind of feel-good movies last week, and my roommate really recommends the Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, that whole franchise, and I had never seen them. So her and I sat down last week and watched the first two. I don't know how many there are, but I believe we watched the first two. We watched Meet the Parents, which I really enjoyed. However, Meet the Fockers, I loved. I thought it was so much more funny. I really, really, really enjoyed that one. I just feel like the dynamics of those families reminds me so much of like what my future might look like, and I'm scared, but I'm also excited because it's just so funny. The only other movie I watched this past week was Happiness for Beginners on Netflix, and before you say anything about Netflix movies, I know that it can be hit or miss. I liked this one. I thought that it was perfect level of like feel good. It actually really hit home for a lot of things. It was kind of emotional and kind of like moving in some aspects. If you're looking for just like a feel good movie that's not like dramatized or like a film by any means, it's just like a good time, I recommend it. It was very sweet. Last but not least, my favorite updates to give is my book updates. You guys know I've been reading Onyx Storm, the whole Fourth Wing series, for probably before I started this YouTube series actually. I promise I'm almost done. I have about 100 pages left, I would say, of Onyx Storm. I'm on 415, I believe there's 527. That said, the beginning of it took me so long to get through. I felt like I was being thrown into a whole nother universe. It felt like I missed some chapters. Like, I feel like people and places were being mentioned that I'd never heard of before, and it just kind of felt like I was out of the loop sometimes. So I will say I kind of trudged through the beginning half of this one. I know that's not the case for everyone. That might be a hot take. It was just kind of different and kind of a little bit of a struggle for me, and I don't know why. I'm excited to go back eventually and reread the series down the line this year a little bit so that I can maybe pick up on things that I didn't necessarily notice before. That said, the second half of this book, it picked up big time. And I feel like I've the last like 150 pages like flown through. So I'm really starting to pick it up. I only have 100 pages left, so I'm going to sit down tonight and finish it, whether it kills me. Which is why I have to go and edit this video, prep for a presentation tomorrow, and get my butt on the couch and read. I will be posting my review on Fable, so follow me on there. Yeah, I'm really excited, but I'm also really sad to finish this because I don't want to wait another 2 years. So, but yeah, that is my book update of the week. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week when I think we're gonna finish the Crochet Penguins, because it's about time that happens as well. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I do happen to post probably more often on there than I do on here, of course, but that said, I will be trying to post these more closely to once a week, if possible, moving forward. However, you never know what's gonna happen, and I just appreciate you guys sticking along for the ride regardless. So, love you, and I will see you when I see you.